Hi everybody from Chronic Matters, it's Andrea. Today I wanted to talk about a drug that I was prescribed and an incredibly rare side effect. You may have seen from the title of this video that I had full body paralysis as a result of taking the drug called Zofran. That's sort of its trade name. It's on Danzatron as its drug class name. In any case, I think for the vast majority of people, they would understand it to be Zofran. And I was given that drug because my body has grown an allergy as of recent, just in the last month or so, for gravel. And I'm feeling nauseous with anything I eat or anything that I drink on account of, at this point, honestly, who knows what. It could be a result of many different things, although we were originally assuming it was neuroendocrine tumors that were causing the nausea. You can kind of watch one of my other videos and get a little bit more understanding on why I would be saying that. But on to the Zofran. So I went to the hospital the one day to meet my physician so that he could do some major labs to see if I was needing to push my CT scan up the 4 days from that Friday to the Monday. And the only major thing that was out was my ionized calcium. And in any case, while we were there, we asked if he would write a prescription for Zofran because I can't take Gravol anymore. I'm allergic to metoclopramide. And so, I need something for this nausea. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll write you a prescription for Zofran. A lot of people would be familiar to that one being the cancer drug, the anti-nausea for cancer. And so I came home. I had taken it a couple times and I didn't really notice anything specific. And one day I took it, and approximately 30 minutes later, my entire body just got this weight about it. And I didn't really notice it. I just thought maybe I'd overdone it with physio because they've been coming into my house now twice a week to help me out. And by the time my body got heavy enough that I realized that it was a paralysis episode coming on, because I have had paralysis episodes in the past, but they were related to something else. They were related probably to duloxetine. And so I ran upstairs as quickly as I can run, which isn't very quick, and got into bed, and I didn't have any time to take diazepam, which is a drug I tend to take if I feel like I'm going to have a paralysis episode coming on. But I've only had a total of maybe 6 paralysis episodes since Mother's Day of 2022. And so it's not like this is a common thing for my body to have paralysis episodes, but I have had them before. So I know that diazepam will sometimes allow my body to relax enough that I can fall asleep through the paralysis episode, because for anyone who's ever had one, like a full body paralysis episode, they're incredibly painful. Just laying in one spot, not being able to move a single muscle, it's like if you aren't in the most comfortable position humanly possible, it's really, really not a comfortable thing. And so I wound up being able to text my husband paralysis, just the word, I think, and I wasn't able to get diazepam into me. There just wasn't enough time. And so that 3 hours dragged by because I was fully with it inside my head, and my puppy was standing on me, and my Gus, so that was Ruby who was standing on me, and then Gus, he could tell that he needed to be with me, but he was doing deep pressure therapy, which would ideally be a good thing, except my hips were already so sore from laying in one position that it wasn't pleasant. And I thought for sure it's got to be the fact that I'm weaning off of duloxetine, because I get extra pyramidal side effects from this drug that I'm on, and now I'm weaning off of it. But you have to wean off of those ones really, really slowly. So like I can't just stop taking it because it's an SNRI, and so like there's consequences to discontinuation of the drug even if you're tapering off of it slowly. And so the most recent time I'd had a paralysis episode was when I went from 120 milligrams, which is an insanely high dose, down to 90 milligrams, and it caused my body to be fatigued. And I can't remember what I did that set off a paralysis episode, but it made sense. I was like, okay, well, I'm weaning off duloxetine, so it makes sense that I'm going to have this paralysis episode. So for the first paralysis episode, I thought fully I must have overdone it. I didn't think it was the Zofran. I was not connecting the Zofran. And then we came to the next day and I took a Zofran for nausea. And this time I was about to have I was going to have my physiotherapist appointment in like half an hour, and I felt just this weight. Like, it's hard to describe because it's in the entirety of my body. It's like my head gets heavy, my eyes get heavy, but also my limbs feel like they're holding on to sandbags. And so I started to get that feeling, and then I was like, I don't know if I have told my physiotherapist that these happen sometimes, because they're so intermittent that I wasn't thinking about them. I've told her about twitching episodes that I have, or, like the FND non-epileptic seizure type activity, but I didn't tell her about these, I don't think. So I ran and grabbed a pen as quickly as I could because I didn't want her showing up at my front door, knowing that I was home, me not answering, her getting concerned, and like sending the police. And then them finding me fully paralyzed. Like I didn't want that. So I wrote a note to her as quickly as I could, and I gave her my husband's phone number and name and said, like, if you have any questions, call this number. Like, don't call the police. So anyway, I ran upstairs. That time I was able to get a diazepam on board, but it still wasn't enough to just take away that insane pain that goes along with these paralysis episodes. And again, I texted my husband paralysis because that's all I had time for. And I got as comfy as I could in the bed, very similar to kind of how I am now. And again, it was half an hour after I'd taken a Zofran, and it lasted for approximately 3 hours. Now, at that point, my husband did come home when I said paralysis to check on me, because he wasn't sure if I had been able to get a diazepam on me, and he wanted to make sure that I could move, like he could move me into a position if I wasn't in the most ideal position, because he knew just how painful the one from the day before, where I didn't have any diazepam on board, truly was. And so, again, I thought it was actually the duloxetine, the weaning of the duloxetine, because I have, like I said, extrapyramidal side effects from duloxetine. And that just means that, like, I have symptoms that are, they look like almost psychiatric in nature, and like they look like almost Parkinson's type symptoms. So, patients who have Parkinson's, they have a very specific way of writing. It's very jittery, and it's like, I don't think that it's anything a person could, even if they wanted to, try to copy a Parkinson's style handwriting, because it's just so specific. And so my hands had started doing that a long time ago when I went on duloxetine, and I started having all these other side effects. So I thought for sure, okay, my body is sensitive because it's weaning off of this. And then day number 3, I took a Zofran and took a diazepam, laid down. Again, they all presented the exact same way, with like the sandbags on the limbs and everything like that. Like, I could just tell that everything was like shutting down from a muscular sense. Like, they were basically just going to sleep on me. And there was absolutely nothing I could do to stop it. So the only thing I could do was get into the most comfortable position humanly possible. And so again, 30 minutes after taking this Zofran, it's what I did. And I was fully present. I just couldn't move. Again, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But my husband was able to like reposition me and whatnot. And I phoned my family physician the next day and I said, hey, have you ever heard of this like side effect? Because after having that third paralysis episode, I said to my husband, like, you need to look up the rarest of the rare side effects. Like, is this a side effect of Zofran? Because up until this point, I'd really been thinking it was tapering off the duloxetine. And sure enough, it can actually be caused by any antiemetic. So technically Gravol could do it, metoclopramide could do it, anything that is basically an anti-nausea medication of any kind. But like, it is a seriously rare side effect. And so I phoned my family physician because I thought, well, I better update him on some of the other allergies I've grown anyway. I don't think he has metoclopramide as an allergy for me. I don't think he has. I know he was missing like clindamycin as an allergy. And then now Gravol and Zofran. So I phoned him and he phoned me right back within like 5 minutes. And I said, have you ever had anyone with this? And he said, I heard about it when I was in med school, but it is so, so rare that I've never in my entire career had one of my patients present with it. And I said, well, now you do. And my husband had suggested that perhaps it is being triggered because my body is tapering off of the duloxetine, but I don't know that I'd really want to try it again because of how truly uncomfortable these paralysis episodes are, like the full body paralysis. Imagine not being able to communicate a single word. I can't blink. I can't move my eyes left or right. I can't do anything. I can't speak, swallow, you name it. So like it's outside of how painful it actually is to lay in the exact same spot without any movement whatsoever. So my husband had thought, well, once we get the duloxetine completely out of you, since these side effects can also be part of either having like too low sodium or too low potassium. We couldn't find anything on calcium though, or I would have been wondering if it was the low ionized calcium that had kind of triggered it too. But that didn't seem to be part of what was listed. But antipsychotic drugs and different medications that work on the mind and the serotonin in the body have been noted to cause this problem. So my husband Anthony had said, well, maybe when you're 100% off of the duloxetine, right now I'm at 60 milligrams because you have to taper down by 30 and give it 6 weeks between each tapering down. He said, well, maybe when you're really, really, really off of it, you could try it again and see if it does it to you, or if it was the fact that not only are you sensitive maybe a little bit, like you would tend to have a higher risk to have this type of a reaction, but maybe it is coupling it with the tapering of the duloxetine that's causing it to actually like fall over the edge and turn into a full body paralysis episode. So maybe you should test it again. And I'm going, I don't know that I want to do that. And my doctor said, well, I'm actually in Camp Anthony. I think you should, because he said, what if in an emergency, like they need to give you something and they can't give you Gravol and they can't give you metoclopramide, and they can't give you Zofran. What are they going to give you? Well, they'll rely on like older antipsychotic medications that also work for nausea. And that's just going to give you a higher risk of having extrapyramidal side effects or paralysis episodes anyway. Like, it might actually be worse. And so he basically said, test the theory and call me back and let me know how it goes. So apparently they're in camp Russian roulette with my body, which I don't know if I'm set to, I don't know if I'm willing to play that game or not. But all I know is that at this point in time, at this juncture, I will not be putting Zofran in my body again. I don't like these paralysis episodes. The rarity of having this as a side effect is like ridiculously rare. So like, I don't know if anybody would even search a video like this, because I don't know if there's really anyone else out there who would have this type of side effect. But I just kind of had to laugh, because in the medical field, we say if you hear clip clopping like a horse, don't look for a zebra. It's probably a horse. Zebra being the very rare condition, right? It's usually something simple. So look for the horse. But I'm starting to feel more and more zebra-like as we go along, and my body is reacting so bizarrely. Like, usually when, say, one lab is low, another corresponding element in the body is high. So, like, even my ionized calcium is sort of that way, where when ionized calcium is low, there's another element in the body that's high. Mine is perfectly fine. Like, my body doesn't react according to science or according to like other people's bodies. So who knows if anyone even sees this video based on searching it, because I mean, if you have the same side effect, like, please comment in the bottom, because I would really like to not feel alone on this. But I hope no one else has this as a side effect, because it's unpleasant and I don't really want to play Russian roulette with my body. But I hear what he's saying in terms of perhaps it is, a combination of things that's going on in my body. Because who knows, maybe I won't be allergic to Gravol 6 months from now. I grew that allergy like a month ago. I'm still so nauseated. Now there's like nothing I can take. I'm basically on a full liquid diet of like Ensure, and even they make me really nauseous. So I'm just hopeful that they'll get me in for like the gallium-68 scan to rule out the new neuroendocrine tumors. And I can continue to make YouTube videos, and hopefully at some point they won't be from laying inside of a bed, because that's just all I can manage. But, let me know. Do you have this side effect? I sure hope not. And honestly, like, if you've been prescribed this drug and you're worried because you've seen my video that this is going to be a side effect for you, like, rest assured that in probably a good 40 years that my doctor has been practicing and prescribing this exact drug to people, he has never had anyone have that particular side effect, even though it's listed as a side effect very, 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 very low down on the list. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to laying in bed and being exhausted and trying not to throw up. And I hope you are having a wonderful day, and your chronic illnesses, whatever they may be, are playing nice with you. I know mine aren't, but there's always tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.